Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a quick little project for you today. A few days ago, I posted a video where I was making some ephemera pieces out of some leftover things from one of my devotional kits and some vintage ephemera that I had found. And when I was digging through all of that stuff, I came across this little book of poetry that I'm going to use for today. It's, as far as I'm aware, 1996 is not necessarily vintage, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this. Hopefully this is not offensive to anybody, but I'm gonna make like a little junk journal, art journal out of this little book. This is just a good like fun size to work in, and so I thought it would be fun. I've been on a mission to use up some scraps and stuff, and so I thought I would just kind of take you along for the ride as how this little book comes together, because you can really make a junk journal out of anything, out of mail. I've done that before, showed it on my channel. Different things, as well as obviously just old papers and that kind of stuff. There's really a lot that you can do, and it's just fun. You can use it for an art journal or just, however you want to. But I just thought this would be a fun way to work. It's stapled here, which I'm going to see how it does. If I need to, I'll pop these staples out and just bind it with a pamphlet stitch. But as long as it's holding up okay, we'll see. The staples seem a little bit, maybe like they're a little bit rusted, but so I may pull those out. I'll just kind of have to see how the papers are doing once I get them in here, how thick it's getting and whatever. So anyway, I thought I would just put you on fast forward and what you can see how I'm going to turn this little book of Christmas poetry into a little junk journal. Okay, so I have a little piece of deli paper that I'm going to put down so I'm not making a mess on my mat here. And I'm going to start with covering the cover. And I was trying to decide what kind of glue I wanted to use for this. You could use collage medium, gel medium, matte medium, whatever you want. I'm just going to go with an easy glue stick. It's just these Yoo-Hoo glue sticks stick really well, so I won't have any trouble with this, generally speaking. So these are my preferred brand for a glue stick. I do use the Cocoina ones, but those are a softer paste type. So for this kind of project, I really like the Yoo-Hoo. So again, I'm just using my scraps here. So I'm covering this. I have some music paper there. I have some like packaging paper here, and I'm trying to keep the wrinkles on that just for the texture. I'm trying to do some things that are heavier weight for this cover to make sure I'm really covering up the images underneath it. Because they're kind of dark background, you can see I'm just slathering on. This is like some handmade paper. Just layering this over. I'm not really thinking too hard about any of this. So I just want to add papers, and I will end up decorating the cover a little later. I will show you a picture of that at the end, and just covering everything up. So I have a variety of papers again that I'm using. I'm trying to keep at least the cover part pretty neutral. So I have some piano roll here. I have some like the handmade paper. I have some book text. I have some hymnal, and I'm just looking for things. This piece right here is actually from one of the altered magazines that I did with the National Geographic and the Citrusolve. I'll try to remember to link that video, but this is a scrap from one of those pages, and I'm just going to keep working through here, adding just bits and pieces. Again, I won't make you watch this whole process, but I am going to do the cover, just trying to add some things. This is actually some scrap of some Braille paper that I had colored with some like distress oxides and stuff. And I just have a few bits and pieces of that paper. So I'm going to add some back here to the side. I have where the little ring hole part was. I just thought that was really interesting just for some extra texture. So I just layered the holes over that book text so you could see it. This is some leftover scrapbook paper, like pattern paper from By the Well for God. And then this was just some collage fodder that was kind of in my stash. So just a lot of things, just trying to use up my scraps. So once that is all done, you can see I was working off the edge. So I just trimmed everything down, and basically now my cover is done. I wanted to break up this little section up here at the top where everything was kind of very vertical. So I'm just adding this one little piece here horizontally over it just to kind of break up that pattern there and just give it a little bit more interest up there. And then here I'm starting on the inside now, and I'm using some bigger papers for this. You could use whatever kind of size you want to. For this page on the left, I did end up pulling out some liquid glue for this because this was a really heavy like cardstock paper. So I just wanted to make sure that that was going to stick down. And then this is some old pattern paper, just whatever was in my little bucket of scraps. This is another one of those pages of that National Geographic magazine that I altered with the Citrusolve. And so I'm just adding a little piece of that. I love the texture of that. And there's just a lot that you can do. It's a lot of fun. And then just adding some book text. I'm not going to make you watch as I do all of this. I'm just going to add a little bit of collage fodder here. This really just makes a great background and some like visual texture in the background. If you're wanting to make this as like an art journal, those are the kind of things that just add a lot of layer and dimension, so that when you're working on it, you just kind of already have a rough, a good start. You're not having just that blank page just kind of staring at you. So some of this is going to get covered up with paint and with other papers and just all kinds of things. It's just really to add some interest. So you can kind of see here, I did this first several pages, and you can kind of see how the spine is starting to kind of curl a little bit. So what I have done is now I'm going to start from the back and work my way toward the middle. So I did a few pages at the front, and now I'm starting at the back and working my way forward. This is a good idea if you're doing any kind of altered book, because you don't want to like mess up the spine too much, and it can get kind of lopsided that way. So I did end up having to pull a couple of pages out. I'm just going to do a really quick flip through so you can kind of see how these pages are. I pulled out just a few in the middle, just because I felt like it was going to get too bulky by the time I add everything else in here that I want to. So I'm just giving you a flip through. You can see they're all different. They all kind of they don't necessarily coordinate or anything. They just all kind of flow with some leftover paper. This book is about 4x6 when it's finished. And it's just a great little art journal size. It's just going to be a lot of fun to work in. And I would, just suggest trying it out. Collaging is almost therapeutic sometimes. So this is what the cover ended up looking like. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.